stage with Batman and Alfred, so that's pretty cool in and of itself. First of all, David, we've talked before, but Sean, this is my first time meeting you. It's great to have you guys here, and I wanted to talk, first of all, because I'm a huge Batman fan, going back to when I was a little kid. When this show first came on, I think that, you know, like a lot of people, there was a little bit of trepidation because it was obviously going in a very daring direction from something we'd never seen before, as far as the Batman lore goes. And I think you guys have managed to do some really great things with it. And I know a lot of that comes from, you know, guys like Bruno coming up with these really great ideas and whatnot. But what I'm really curious about is when you started, how much was determined and how much was open to interpretation from you guys on your own? Because, I mean, obviously, especially Sean with Alfred, this is a side of Alfred we've never seen before. You know, seeing that he can be, pardon my language, a badass, first of all.
Thank you very much. I think that kind of looks to be the wonderful sort of guidance of Jeff Johns, who's been a great supporter of ours. In fact, everything is run through him. We have these two fantastic showrunners, both of which are massive Batman fans. So to them, getting some of the information was absolutely one of the most important aspects of putting this project together. And the original idea, of course, was to show for the first time how a city molds very ordinary people in many respects. Batman is an ordinary person who's being an extraordinary superhero in many respects, but being a human being. So that was our sort of general approach, sort of originally, and it was a great sort of honour to be allowed to not reimagine, but redefine characters that the people that are here know probably damn slightly more than I do, and they're sort of true fans. So it's been an honour. It was scary to begin with, but I think that people are well now sort of accepted, and we're very, very, very proud of season 2 especially. And we seem to have found our pentameter now, and you lot will be lovely, I have to say.
David, we've seen several different variations of Bruce seeing his parents get killed, but the one thing we never got to see is what happened after that. And so now we're finally getting to see, like, what were the years that took place after that. And for you, I mean, obviously coming in and doing something like this, it's already like a huge honor to be able to play Bruce Wayne / Batman. But, I mean, how rewarding is it for you to be able to play this out in a way that we've never seen before? We've never gotten to see this chapter of Bruce Wayne's life.
I mean, it's extremely rewarding because I don't know about you guys, I mean, I kind of do, but I'm a huge Batman fan, and I've always been, and it's really interesting to me what made him become Batman. What happened in his life where he actually decided, okay, I need to do this, I need to protect Gotham. And we all know why he's Batman. We all know why he decided to put on the cape. But what led up to that? What led up to that decision? That's never really explored anywhere else besides in Gotham. And you never really find out who his inspirations are. This guy. There's so many aspects that go into it that you never ever get to explore in any of the comic books and any of the movies. And we're the first people to do that, and it's extraordinary.
Yeah, the other thing is that very rarely, you know, I've done a lot of movies in the past, and you very rarely get 90 minutes to actually tell a story. And both David and I and the rest of the cast, Robin and Corey, we're honoured to be able to give you 22 hours every season of development of the story, of a character, and of a world that we sort of reimagined. So we're sort of, and that's the great thing about Bruno's writing, isn't it? That he tends to always approach things from a psychological angle, so it's always from a truth. And we've been given the honour and the great honour of being able to play these characters and develop them over 44 hours so far. So, you know.
Did you guys get a chance to kind of spend some time with each other and kind of find that chemistry together, or did you just kind of get thrown together on set and just had to figure it out as it went?
No, I shouted at him and told him to get off the bloody roof. That was the first time I heard that. I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the first time I met Sean, he's just amazing. And he's like a friend the second I met him, so I mean, I think the chemistry was instant.
Yeah, second son.
It just seems so genuine, and I love watching you two together on screen. I want to make this about you guys, and I want to take some questions, but before before I do, David, I asked you this before when we did our interview. Can you please do your best time Batman voice for us?
So the last time you asked me, I was younger. But I had a bitch voice. So hopefully now I'll do better. I am Batman.
All right, let's start some audience questions here. We'll start over here, and then we'll go over here, and we'll bounce back and forth. We'll go with you right here.
How does it feel being on Gotham?
Well, it's like it's one of the biggest honours to actually to be able to play a fellow countryman, Alfred Pennyworth. There's not that many English characters that are involved in superhero stories, so to be in a show where you're surrounded by the Riddler and the Joker, and maybe Mr. Freeze might be arriving, and may or may not be Joker, and all these other sort of characters. It's a dream come true, and I used to watch Batman when I was with my father when he was doing a play in New Jersey, and yeah, man, when I was 3 years old, I put it on Instagram the other day. I found this picture of me. So wait up, we got back from the theatre, and this is 1967 or 68. Yes, I'm that old. And I used to put my mum's apron on and bounce around on the sofa, sort of singing like. In those days, it was as cool as it is now, and that's the great thing. The enduring world of Batman has changed Rubik's Cube style with every generation. I mean, from your generation, I can't see you, my lovely, but from your generation to my generation, he's always there. So being in Gotham and being in that world is just one of the greatest sort of honours, really.
And honestly, when I first found out that I was going to be, when I was auditioning for this Gotham thing, and I was young Bruce Wayne, and it was going to be a show about the origin stories, I was like, okay, it's another TV show, it's pilot season, just auditioning for something. And then when I got it, it was kind of, okay, great, I got a pilot. But then once I started to see the fan reaction and how huge this thing actually is, it's not just a TV show, we're part of a universe that has been around for 76 years now. I mean, it's just incredible, and it's more than anything that I've ever done before. It's just huge.
Very cool. We'll go right here.
Hi, thanks for coming to Dallas, and clearly we're all here to see y'all. We're huge fans of the show, we're huge fans of y'all's work. Who are y'all fans of? Who do you get giddy and fanboy over?
I got pretty giddy when I met Seth MacFarlane. It's pretty cool. I think that's my number one.
I had a horrible experience actually with David. We were in San Diego, and I met Mike Tyson, and something happened to my voice. And I shook his hand, and I went, "Ooh!" I don't know what that was about. And he just put his hand on my shoulder, and he went, "Shh."
That's awesome. Right over here.
Not really, actually. So embarrassing. He just laughed.
Did anyone try to steal your role?
Someone just steal my role.
Sean stole my role. And I took it back.
I hope not. They'd have me to answer to if they tried to. I'll tell you that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to seeing Jeremy Irons. Though I sort of said to a few guys before yesterday that I think we should have an Alfred off. I think Jeremy Irons just stripped to the waist and take it to the car parks. And, personally, my money's on me.
Right over here.
First, I wanted to say that when I first started watching Gotham, I just watched it casually, and Sean, you stole the show and made me a fan, so thank you for that. My question is, I saw the cosplay of you dressing as your father, the Third Doctor, and I was just curious if they were going to ever try to do something with that, if you would be willing to actually play your doctor, or your father as the Doctor.
Well, that first of all, the cosmic thing was actually down to tequila. It was Halloween, and I found a wig, and that's the end of that story. But I've never really been approached. John Nathan Turner, who was one of the producers of Doctor Who, just after my father. In my father's sort of years, he wasn't too keen on me because I used to I did lots of sort of films. You find yourselves in weird situations, but as an actor, you know, I never intended to be a villain or a gangster. But I just found myself doing a lot of this a lot of the time. And he wasn't too enamored with that. So I was never actually asked to be on the show. I have been recently, and it was something that, you know, I'd like to go back as an ode to my father in some form of respect to him and to Roger Delgado, who was my dad's best friend and headmaster. So maybe one day I'll go back and do something, but I'd never be able to fill my father's size 10s man in the big boots to fill, you know. But I'd love to. I'm very, very interested to see what Chindle does with it, because I know Chris, I've worked with him before in the past, and he's a phenomenally talented writer. And although I'm very fond of Peter as an actor, as a man, I'm really intrigued to see what happens with the writing and with maybe the new Doctor. Or Dr. Her, maybe. That'd be amazing. Tilda Swinton.
I don't think one. Right here.
What's your favorite childhood toy?
I'm still a child. What's my favorite toy? So I had this pillow that I'm not kidding. I had this pillow that was in it. I got it when my aunt got it for me when I was, I think, about 3, and it was like shaped as a Coke, you know, Coca-Cola can, and I couldn't fall asleep without it until about 2 years ago. And now I have a Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I'm serious.
I'm actually joking about talking about pillows. I've got a pillow with like David's face on it, because because often David has to go to school because he is still a young man and he has to go to school, and I'm often left with either a very young lady in a wig, access to David who doesn't know her lines, interesting, or a pillow that I have to act to. So I'm David's pillow with his face on, which sometimes it's a stand-in.
I gave Sean the pillow for his birthday.
Right here.
Hey, thank you for taking us to Gotham every week. I love going to Gotham with you guys. Is there a piece of the Batman mythos, a comic book or a movie that you can go back and read or watch over and over again?
Yeah, the rubber shark scene in the Batman movie, the first one. Absolute favourite. No joke, it really is. Love it.
I guess for me, there is no one comic book or movie that I can go to for inspiration or guidance or something like that. I mean, I think every reincarnation of the Batman universe, especially Gotham, you redefine the characters in some way. So you kind of pick something, you pick different things from different, you know, comic books and movies from before, and then you kind of add your own special thing to it. And so I just try to read as many comic books and watch as many movies as I can, and kind of take what I like. If that makes any sense.
Thank you. Right here.
Hi, so during the pilot episode, there was a moment when I just knew that I was going to stick with the show, and it was right after your parents were shot, and you had that scream. How was it filming that scene?
It was actually pretty fun. You know, it's terrible to say, but it was a really fun scene. And a lot of people ask me, "Oh, you must have not spoken for weeks." I've never lost my voice, which is, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it was a pretty fun scene, and the actors who played my parents were really, really nice people. Maybe they'll come back for a flashback.
It's interesting actually, because someone asked a question in one of the other panels the other day, and this was saying, what was your favourite scene? And that, of course, Debbie was talking about that one. And it's funny how you sort of find sort of character traits that you really sort of adhere to and stick to when you're first starting out on a show with the sort of the magnitude that Gotham actually is. And when we did that scene, and young David, as you can see, has grown considerably as well. There were so many things that happened that day that just blew me away. The way that Danny Cannon lit into this huge cherry pick crane shot where you actually saw the bat wings. I don't know if you know from the Earth One books, there's that famous sort of image of him sitting between his two dead parents, something like that. But I personally, so I'm narcissistically talking about myself again, which is always nice, was when we were walking away, and I said something that Bruno, our writer, he said, it was a real sort of character trait that we stuck to with Alfred and Bruce's relationship. I said, you know, don't cry, keep your head up, don't let them see you cry. And we sort of stuck to that. That became sort of like a touchstone for our relationship from that point. It was about manning up and not showing emotion, which is a very early sign of the true Batman, the real Batman. So it came from that moment, from that day.
If you were Batman, what was the first thing you would do?
Save Gotham City.
Give Alfred a raise.
Hey, David, I think you may have a birthday next week, if you can believe the internet. But you will age, of course, during the course of the show. At what age should your character become Batman, and do you ever envision becoming Batman during the course of the show?
I mean, it's really up to the, well, first of all, actually, something that's funny, which I found out my last birthday, is that Bruce Wayne's birthday in the comic books is February 19th, and my birthday in real life is February 19th, which is pretty cool. And so, it's, so Bruce's birthday's coming up too, so I'll accept double presents. I think in regards to me becoming Batman on the show, I think that's really up to the writers, and also it just depends on how long the show goes, because obviously you can't have a 14-year-old Batman, just wouldn't fit in. But it just depends on how many liberties the writers are willing to take, and I think Batman becomes Batman when he's around 25. Yeah, something. I think he goes off to Asia to train or whatever, with ninjas or whatever. And then he comes back when he's like 25. And so I mean, I'll be 15 on Friday. The show goes another 10 years. Man, I don't know. It really depends on a lot of things.
Hi guys. So I see that you guys have a lot of fun off camera. Were there any good pranks that have been pulled while off camera on set, maybe?
That's good, I do this thing to Debbie, I'll do it very quickly now. Children look away. There's that one. And that's my favourite. We've actually raised a few eyebrows with that one. So we did it in San Diego. It got more complex. We got a pen, and he got a pen lid, and I pretended to throw the pen, and he threw the pen lid at himself. And Danny Cannon, our showrunner, went, "What the hell are you doing, man?" And people's children crying and everything. It's clapped in irons and cut off by the police.
In terms of pranks, I think Robin Lord Taylor and Cormac Smith, who played Penguin, and Nigma, I think they have a little prank thing going on. I'm not sure exactly what it is. So, next time you see them, ask them.
Right here.
Sean, my favorite outfit so far to date. We'll have to see what Jeremy Irons does, but you're
Yeah.
up there. You're a tough act to follow.
Oh, thank you so much.
Question for David. At what age did you decide to be an actor, and what was the conversation you had with your parents?
It was a very gradual. It wasn't like I woke up one day and said I want to act. It was a very gradual decision. When I was about 5, I'll tell you the short version. When I was about 5, my sister really wanted to do it, and so my mom said no, and my sister gave my mom a silent treatment for a week, and so my mom said, okay, fine, you can go to classes. So my sister and I just did it because she was my older sibling and just wanted to do whatever she did. And so for about 3 years, gave my mom every Sunday for like 3 hours, give my mom an opportunity to go to Costco, and we would just take classes because it was fun. And then one of the classes, my commercial agent saw me, so I started doing commercial auditions, started for about a year, and then he referred me to my theatrical agent, and then I started doing theatrical stuff, and then it just kind of happened. There was never really a decision where I said, I want to do this. It was just one thing led to another, which led to another.
How old were you when you did Touch?
I booked it when I was 10, and I finished it when I was 12.
Because that was the strange thing, because I used to watch that avidly as a fan in England with my wife. My son called Alfred when he was very young. And we used to watch David, and then of course I was going, well, I know this guy from when I first started working with him. He was in Alfred Show in Touch, where he didn't speak at all, in fact. It was fantastic performance. So actually, one of these.
On a side note, that last question, seeing you on Criminal Minds after seeing Gotham and having a minor freak out going, it's Batman! That was entertaining. But my question is that how has your aging been affecting the story, things like that, and what the directions they've taken with the choices?
I think Bruno's intention was to have the story progress as I age, and so he knows that I'm getting taller, and I'm getting older, and I think it's very progressive and it's very slow, but it's definitely building up, and you can see as the scripts come in, Bruce is becoming more of a man, and yeah, I think it's there's some scripts that we've gotten. In the beginning, there were these situations that Bruce was thrown in where he kind of reacted, very scared, and now we're getting scripts where if Bruce is in a tough situation, he has this courage under pressure. He knows how to handle things, and he has this strength about him that's growing, and will eventually, be Batman. But I think that's really how it's playing it.
Okay, let's go back over here.
If you were older, do you think you'd be a better Batman than Ben Affleck?
Yeah, that's not setting you up at all.
All I'm going to say is that I'm excited for Ben Affleck.
Yeah!
Right here.
Okay. Would you rather be a villain, but everyone would know where your hideout was, or would you rather be a superhero, but no one would know you're actually a hero?
I'm not telling you. Well, kind of interesting question, really, but we are in the sort of Wayne cave at the moment, and they don't know who we are yet, or you are yet, do they? So we'll go for the answer B.
B.
Let's go right back here.
Alright, before I give you my question, I'm going to try my best to make the best Trevor impression. Alright, you kitty little striped sweater guy, and you old man, I got a question for you. So before, I tried to start a Trevor industry. I don't know, but before Gotham, that lately show I've been watching lies. What makes you become famous?
I got nothing out of that. Can you ask it in a more simple way without the impression?
So before Gotham, what inspired you to become famous, or what made you famous?
What made you want to get into show business? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I think it was just dressing up in costumes, basically. I saw my father do it. I suppose it's like my father was quite an actor in my country, and it was like if he was a butcher or a baker or something. For me, it was not something. My family have been actors for hundreds of years. Literally hundreds of years. So it wasn't a big decision really for me. It was just like going into the family trade. But it's an extraordinary family trade. We're very, very lucky. We're not ageist, we're not anything in our business. That's a great thing about working with someone. With David, he's a complete co-worker at the age of tender age of how old he was when I first started working with him. So that's the thing that attracted me to it, is the fact that you get to pretend to be other people. You get to learn sort of elements of skills. You get to train with people. Like I've been lucky enough to train with the SAS for other shows, and that's the thing that drew me to it, and that's the thing that drew my father to it, and my father's father. So that's my answer.
All right, right over here.
First of all, thank you for coming. I love the show, so I'm really happy to be able to sit here and talk to y'all. But the stigmata that the character Batman has, no matter how much we all love him, and I can say we probably all do, is to get us to basically cheer and be happy for a character that, if you really break it down, is just a rich kid with issues that has problems and decided to snap and put on a mask and do something about it.
Yeah, but at least he's doing something about it, right?
True, very true.
At least that's, I think the enduring thing about Batman is he at least has the gumption to stand up and say enough and no, and not to kill and not to use firearms. You know, and I think that's a very admirable trait, I think, to be a hero like that.
And I don't know if this has anything to do with what you just said, but you are wearing 2 Superman things.
Yes. See you in the car.
It's not called Metropolis, it's called Gotham. Batman does not have issues. Okay? Don't get one thing straight. He doesn't have issues.
We're seeing Batman versus Superman play out right in front of us. Right over here.
Were you nervous whenever you first found out that you were going to start filming the show that you might mess up by accident?
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, you know, when you've got people like Michael Goff and Michael Caine who precede you playing a character like Alfred, absolutely you do. And especially when we're attempting to do something which is, as I said before, to redefine characters that you all know and love, and in your imagination and minds have very definite opinions about, all of which are valid. Of course, yeah, you're very scared, and you hope you do it right, but you have to stick to your own heartbeat and think and feel what you feel is the right decision to make. So it is a very nerve-wracking experience, you know.
I think a lot of people have been asking me that, or were you scared that, like, the pressure, did you feel like you were going to mess up, people weren't going to like your performance? And honestly, I was just really excited when I found out I got the role. I was like, moving to New York, going to the new show, this guy Sean Pertwee, you know, it was a very exciting experience. I never really thought about the pressure, but now that people have been asking me, now I'm starting to think about it, and it's kind of like too late. But I mean, I have to say, the fan reaction has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So I didn't even realize how grateful, how lucky I was to have that, but I do, and so it's all because of you guys, so thank you.
Hi, thank you guys so much for coming. I'm huge fans of the show, and you guys have just done amazing things with your characters, so thank you very much. Keep up with the good work. So my question is about what we might see in the rest of season 2, because where we left off, Penguin helped, he teamed up with everyone and helped Bruce, save his life. So given how much he loves well-connected people owing him favors, will we see Oswald Cobblepot trying to establish some sort of relationship with the Wings? And what would you?
May follow up the questioning. Yes, a lot happens in the second half of the seasons. You know, there's sort of the demise of Galavan. What I will say is that there's an introduction which you had hints of before of Indian Hill, which is almost like Jacob's Ladder, where you saw the pre-Firefly being taken to. So you're introduced to Hugo Strange, which has never been to the community to say you were before, played by the brilliant B.D. Wong. I don't know if you guys know him, wonderful actor. You do know that you have flashes of like Mr. Freeze arriving, so there's a lot of exploration into some of the really big supervillains, as well as the ones of people who the wheels are falling off emotionally and mentally with the Riddler, who starts turning into the Riddler. So you'll see an awful lot of that. I can't even, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you don't give too much of it away. But just watch it. Just watch it.
February 29th.
Hello, I love both of your characters very much, so thank you. I wanted to know what your favorite villainous personality on the show was.
Was or is?
I think mine is the Riddler, Enigma. I think Corey Michael Smith is just brilliant in the way that Bruno is writing it. It's just so slow and it's just so real. And I mean, you really start to see how some creepy forensic guy becomes one of the biggest villains in Gotham's history. I think it's that character development is just incredible and it fascinates me.
Yeah, to show the sort of I mean, Corey explains it much better, maybe when you meet him he'll tell you about it. It's the swing of the pendulum from him being a very disturbed and bullied person to him reaching a sort of optimum speed to actually going past the physical act of murdering someone to actually enjoying it. And Corey is an extremely serious actor. He's in one of the films called Carol. He's in a nominated movie, and he's in Olive Ketteridge. He's a superbly serious and supreme actor, so it's been an absolute delight to watch him, as it has been with the likes of Robin Lord Taylor, who I think is just killing it as the main role. I mean, that's again got to do with our showrunners with Bruno and Danny, because they cast people that they really fought for these roles who aren't necessarily famous, studio favourites particularly, but both our showrunners fought very hard for these people to play these roles because they believe in them as actors, which is a great honour, and I think that they're delivering. I think you'll agree with me on that one. So I need to say, yeah, Corey, or of course the lovely Robin Lord Taylor is the main one. Fair.
If you had power, what would it be?
What's the problem?
Power.
A superpower.
That's reading your mind, isn't it? Oh, really? Yellow forward. Time travel for me.
I would like to be able to teleport things, including myself. Like if I was in traffic, there's a bunch of cars on the highway, just like teleport all the other cars like back 10 miles. And have a clear road for me to go.
Right here.
Okay, who do you think would win in Gotham? Alfred or Bruce Wayne?
But why are they fighting?
You're gonna watch your lips, son. You're gonna come over there and sort you out, mate. Oh, I don't know. I'd never touch a hair. I'll harm a hair on his head. What are you talking about?
All right, right here.
Hi. Was there ever any moment when filming the show when you were questioning the script? Like, you were like, what am I reading?
Yeah, I mean, quite often, actually. But I mean, it's great question. I mean, I think it's mainly little things. I think little things that I think don't fit in with the character, the continuity's wrong, and so we just call the writers, and they take care of it.
And sometimes, you feel that you have a complete understanding about what's going on, what your characters, how your character's developing and everything like that, and you're absolutely convinced. We were talking about this last night, actually, I was convinced that I knew what Thomas Wayne was doing in the study, and I knew about the cave. And I'd been playing it, I'm sure you'll notice my subtext was relaxing, that I knew what was in the room and in the cave, of course. And so I asked Bruno on the last day of shooting, I said, of course, Alfred did know what was in the cave. Of course, he said, no, he didn't. No, I don't. So there you go. So you don't know sometimes. And often what happens with the way that they write on this show is you think you're getting there with these bolts with character traits and brush strokes and colours of the character. In actual fact, you're being very, very gently guided by our writers into a direction that you never actually foresaw you were going. They're very, very clever like that. But good question.
Right back here.
All right, I just want to say that y'all both are perfect for Gotham. I just want to say y'all doing great.
And also my question is, will we ever see you fight like Affleck, like the way he fought in the trailer?
Will you ever see you fight like what?
Like Batman, or like the Batman vs Superman one, like fight like, you know, kind of.
In a costume? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not us. I mean, I'm not gonna want to give too much away, but there are definitely some costumes coming up in the second half of the second season. Not a lot to do with us, though, because obviously, first costume Bruce will be putting on will be, Bat. That can't happen yet. But yeah, I think you'll be seeing some of that.
You'll start to see the sort of the uber super villains costumes, but you won't see Batman as yet because he hasn't really started his journey. He needs, like we were sort of saying earlier on, he needs to be about 19, he needs to go to Tibet first.
So, how far do you guys see the show going?
So I think until basically he goes to Tibet. That's what he said Tibet.
Until the viewership drops significantly, like the Xbox says.
That's the honest answer.
Back over here.
Hi, I'm glad, so happy to see you guys. I just wanted to ask, out of all the versions of the shows of Batman that I've seen, Alfred tends to be more of a warrior over Bruce and kind of like his helpmate, but this is the first time I've ever really seen his character kick butt. Like, he's just so skilled and it's just really awesome. And I just wanted to ask if you would have been as interested in playing the role if it would have stayed along the line of him being kind of like just like a helpmate as opposed to a person who has the skill to kind of help him transition from losing his parents to being Batman.
No, I think that was Bruno's intention from day one. But I don't think that Bruno realised this. Personally, because I'm quite a sort of physical actor, and I don't think he realised that I'm really into that kind of stuff anyway, and fighting it and doing my own stunts and things like that. I'm really into it. So it sort of was a happy marriage. When I just tell you about the audition process quickly. I was given a generic sort of speech about an East End guy that goes into a pub and gets in a fight and punches the guy in the larynx. And this is kind of an extraordinary speech, but it was written by someone who obviously has a real understanding of the East End of London, because I come from London. And later on I discovered it was Bruno. And he sort of said, when I went to meet Bruno and Danny down in LA to actually get the role, they said, imagine if there was a 12-year-old boy sitting in the car, what would you do? And it was very important for them. They said, why? Their question was, why would a spiny East Ender be in the richest man in the world's household? And to us, the obvious answer was he was a protectorate, not just a valet or a butler, but he was a confidant and a bodyguard, as well as as a teacher and a learner. And he was the only person that could be trusted. So that's the direction that we went with. And it sort of developed from there. And when they saw that I sort of enjoyed doing it, and I had fights with Tabitha and things like that, they've encompassed more of them, and you'll see a lot more of that kind of stuff from Alfred coming out.
Did you ever play any video games, or do you have any hobbies?
We tried playing Arkham Knight. Sean and I, we couldn't. Sucked. There was like we were on the second level and there were these tanks and we were in the Batmobile trying to shoot them, but they wouldn't go away.
I've done lots of voices for games. I've done lots of characters. I did stuff. I can't remember any of them now, of course. Mine's gone completely blank. But I've done lots of voiceover games for it. I do play the Xbox. Like Titanfall, particularly. My son beats me on a regular basis at football. He beats him on a regular basis at this football game of FIFA as well. So I do play them. Yeah. Very bad. I keep getting shot in the face by 12-year-olds. I last 30 seconds on Call of Duty, so if it's you, stop it. Just give me a break.
First off, welcome to Texas.
Thank you very much.
Hope you're enjoying it down here.
Very much so.
My question is, with the introduction of the multiverse to the Flash and Arrow universe, do you think we might see a crossover between Gotham and Arrow or Gotham and Flash anytime soon?
I think the main problem with a Gotham crossover. I think a lot of the other shows it works, but Gotham takes place in the past, and I think Bruce Wayne is supposed to be the same in the comic books. Is the same age as Barry Allen and Oliver Queen, and Supergirl. And the main problem is that obviously I'm not the same age as Stephen Amell or Grant Gustin, and so unless there's the time travel thing that's introduced in one of those shows, and it's probably not going to be introduced in Gotham. I don't think a crossover will practically work, but you never know.
Yeah, there was sort of rumblings, wasn't there, in the press recently about it, and, you know, I can't see how it happens.
It would be difficult, I think, at this point. Right here?
Hi, I just want to know who is your favorite main or recruiting villain?
Who's your main who?
Villain?
Oh,
main
main
or
villain.
recruiting?
Your favorite villain? Okay, who's your favorite villain?
On the show or in the books?
In the books.
In the books? In the books, I think my favorite villain is the Mad Hatter. Do you guys, I read, I forgot which comic book it was, but I read this comic book, and Bruce, after he lost his parents, him and his mom used to read Alice in Wonderland together. And after his mom died, Leslie Tompkins kind of comes in, becomes a surrogate mom, tries to read it with him, but you know, the whole idea of Alice in Wonderland was really connecting him to his mom. And so later when the Mad Hatter shows up, it's very emotional for Bruce because it's his mom and the villain, kind of, not really, but you know, this Mad Hatter reminds him of his bonding time with his mom. And so I think, I forgot which book it was, but I think that's my favorite villain because that.
Yeah, and I like him as well. And also Clayface as well, I like him as well. Full stop.
Cool. All right, next.
Okay, so there's so many different versions of Batman. I mean, we all know that, but my favorite being both Michael's from Batman Returns. But what's it like to live up to Alfred and Batman? I mean, those are big shoes to fill.
Well, we hope we are. I mean, that's the only answer. So, I think we are. I think the response and the support's been phenomenal. I think that we are definitely arched a few eyebrows to begin with. I know I certainly did with Alfred's sort of questionable parenting skills. I think we're getting there, and I think that the support. I think that people realise now that we're honouring the 75 years or 76 years of mythology, and there's sort of the guiding hand, the very sort of piercing stare of Jeff Johns. So I hope we deliver it, really.
All right, next.
So we've already seen villains such as Poison Ivy and Riddler on the show. But who are some other villains that you guys like to see come on the show?
I'd like to see Mad Hatter come on.
Clayface. Full stop.
All right, well, before we wrap this up, I did want to ask both of you guys, I know you're only 2 seasons into it so far, but what has been the most, rewarding moment? Was there a particular moment in the past 2 years that you guys have kind of thought, my God, that was really something special for me?
I think there have been quite a bit of those. I think the first one was when I was reading the script, and not even when we finished the scene, and it felt really nice. Was when in season 1, when there's this kid, Tommy Elliott, who's bullying Bruce, and so Alfred gives him his father's watch, and Bruce knocks the daylights out of him. I think that scene was like, okay, Bruce is channeling his anger into, punching, which is good. It's the first step towards Batmanhood.
Yeah, we both enjoyed that day because I wasn't making cups of tea and I wasn't in that room, which made a change. And but it was a defining moment because the thing is, I have a teenage son myself, and it's always it's a very difficult way to communicate sometimes, especially with kids that are damaged, as is Bruce, as is Alfred, and they found through this experience of basically standing up to a bully, they found sort of a common denominator. They found a sort of way of communicating, which was a strange way to do that. But from there, it was the first stepping stone to their real relationship and real direction that they could go. And I was going to say the same thing. That was what was really one of my most favourite scenes to shoot, And there was another one that we did actually in this, which I really liked, where I suddenly thought that the studio was sort of slightly behind me, was when we were doing, I think it was episode 2, and we had this wonderful actor who's called Christopher Chalk, who's playing Lucy's Fox. And I really enjoyed this scene where I get fired by this little scamp, and I'm sent off to find Chris Chalk to fix his father's computer. And I unloaded a lot of sort of colloquialisms from my hometown, from London, kippers and sausages and such like, threatening him with breakfast food. And what I loved was my American cousins, our fan base in America, they had no issue with it, nor did the studio. They actually sort of delighted in the fact that we were using language that actually nobody understood what the hell I was talking about. A lot of sort of tweeting action going on, going, what is he talking about? So that was a real moment for me, was that when I knew that people had accepted the fact that Alfred is different and that he uses language as a weapon. So that I very much enjoyed that scene with Chris Chalk as well. That one as well with Danny.
Yeah, and I think that whole language thing, where a lot of people don't know what Sean's saying. He always adds, the one little thing in every scene. But it's great, especially when the two of us have scenes together, because Bruce understands what he's talking about. He's like the only one. And so it really shows how Alfred and Bruce have their own language, and they have their own communication, and they really are on the same team going through this.
Well, I just want to say on behalf of Dallas, I think it's great that you guys are here, and I really hope that you will come back and see us again. Let's give a big hand to Sean Pertwee and Pennyworth.